You're watching Exit 1055 with your host, Richard Rose.
Hey, good morning. I'm Richard Rose. Welcome to Exit 1055 Long Island. This is your TV 1055 show about all things Long Island. In just a bit, is it the death of malls with so many people shopping online? Dozens of retail outlets closing in the last year on Long Island. But there's another side to it, and we'll hear from a business expert. But we begin this morning with a new report throwing some cold water on the long-touted grand plans for the Nassau Hub by Nassau County Coliseum. TV 1055's Jennifer McLogan explains.
When Uniondale student Keisha Brown leaves school, she will leave Long Island.
Every time you renew your lease, it goes up. It's not affordable. It's really hard.
You're moving away.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Affordable housing has many young people on the move. And according to the Long Island Index, a nonpartisan group of civic, academic, labor, and business leaders, the chance to attract young workers, residents, and businesses is fading here. The report shows plans to transform the area around Nassau Coliseum into a biotech park are already outdated due to a lack of housing. The existing plan is nothing more than a 20th century office park.
This is just a symbol of how Nassau County is not living up to its potential. Here we have a newly renovated Coliseum in the middle of 77 acres of parking, and really not much else is going on.
Drone Force 2 flew above the development. This will be a cancer center, but many hoped an outdoor plaza, pedestrian bridges, retail, restaurants, and entertainment would be in the works by now. Those have yet to break ground due to ongoing litigation. Taxpayers are urging candidates for county executive push for a rapid bus transit system connecting Mineola LIRR with the hub, extending the JFK monorail, even if the islanders don't return here.
You need affordable housing, you need the 21st century transportation, and you need the business community, universities and research centers to all buy in.
Most of this will be built with private sector funds. Can contracts be broken?
Being open to the prospects of hopefully renegotiating and adding different dimensions if we can build consensus for it.
Researchers say new innovation district hubs in Seattle, St. Louis, and Cambridge, Massachusetts are successful, relying less on entertainment and hospitality and more on office space and multifamily housing. Outside the Nassau Coliseum, Jennifer McLogan, TV 1055.
Joining us now is the co-author of the Long Island Index report. He is Shupronam Balmik, and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Well, we've been talking about this for decades. What went wrong here with the latest plans?
Well, I think what we are suggesting over here is completely different from what the previous plans were. We sort of took as our starting point the current county supervisor Mangano's plan to make this the 77 acres, which is an incredible opportunity, not just for the county, but the entire region, into a biotech hub, sort of a biotech ecosystem.
Sounded great, but where does it stand? You just heard the story.
Well, I mean, sort of for the biotech system, what we have right now, we do know sort of that Memorial Sloan Kettering, MSK, is making a significant private investment in their facility. We know the state is providing significant grants up to the tune of $85 million for infrastructure and parking garages. And where the report really starts off is to say we have some really interesting and sort of creative, transformative stuff happening on the campus. We have a number of other players around the campus, including Hofstra, Nassau Community College, players in the region such as Cold Spring Harbor, Brookhaven Lab. And we said, what does it really take to create a real, true biotech life sciences ecosystem on the 77 acres? And that's really the genesis for our sort of conceptual plan over here.
Well, your report indicates it's just a large business park at the present time, and we constantly hear these visions for it. How are we going to get there?
Well, actually, it's very different from a business park, and that's one of the things which the report actually talks about. The current plan, as it's configured, you know, with essentially a significant amount of retail, an overwhelming amount of 2 new hotels, one new hotel, an existing hotel, and some modest sort of entertainment space, including the Coliseum, is really what we think a 20th century office park looks like, which, as you know, in Long Island and the rest of the metro region, is a type of project, which are essentially sort of dying. And what we're suggesting is to create something new, and what sort of we have called, and sort of other sort of thinkers, urban thinkers have called, an innovation district. And that's what we are sort of suggesting for the 77 acres.
Yeah, what would be the elements of this innovation district?
I think sort of there are three major elements for the innovation district that we are sort of suggesting for the site. Number one, we are saying, is for innovation districts, and we have looked at a number of innovation districts throughout the country which have been successful over a period of time. There are three things which are important. One, we believe, is that we need to significantly increase the amount of density, the amount of things that are happening on the 77-acre site.
Including a lot of housing.
Including a lot of housing.
But that's always gotten shut down by the local town, though. When they had the lighthouse project back in Tom Swazi's day, that got shut down by the town.
We think that sort of given the fact that sort of we have a new election coming up for the county executive, this is a county-owned and controlled property. This is a really excellent time to restart that conversation.
Well, and you talk about monorails and various transportation. This was talked about by the former county executive, Tom Swazi, and there was no consensus on it then to get it approved, or the money for it.
Right.
The county wasn't able to come up with any grant money or get it from anywhere.
There is no question that sort of we require infrastructure funding, whether it's the county or the state or other entities helping out. But what we have sort of seen from our research in other places which have very successful innovation districts is that we've had sort of partnerships between the government and the private sector and nonprofit and academic institutions, and very robust partnerships which have actually been very successful in making these districts successful.
Well, we saw that, you know, there are still lawsuits between the former partners that were going to do the retail project. That's leaving this up in the air. People who want to get involved in these projects, they don't like that kind of uncertainty. You already saw that the Northwell Health project did not move forward, maybe perhaps for different reasons, but investors like to see a consensus and a certainty. This could drag on for years.
Yeah, I completely agree with you that investors like to have certainty, and I'm no sort of expert on the lawsuit between the partners over here, and if that were to be settled quickly and amicably, I think that would be great for some of the future plans that we're talking about over here.
Yeah, I think everybody watching on the sidelines, observers, would like to see that happen. What's the impact of still having basically nothing happening there, the impact on the rest of the community, particularly the youngest generation of Long Islanders?
I think sort of in all our research that we've done for this project and previous projects in Long Island, what we have found out is that sort of Long Island is steadily losing its younger generation, people who are 25 to 34, who are really sort of in their prime age, who are really going to be the driving force for this region, for the island and the region. They're leaving. I mean, the numbers were about 15 to 16% about 30 or 40 years back as a percentage.
Would this project, if as you envision it, make a difference? Because, you know, a lot of times when we see these affordable housing projects built, they're not affordable.
I think sort of this is an innovation district project. I think housing is a part of it. It's an important and critical part of it, but it has office space, it has lab space, it has incubators, it has creative space, it has the institutions around it, and it's got amenities and walkability. So I do think sort of is this going to be a transformative project? Yes, but I think this needs to be taken in conjunction with the other initiatives that are happening on Long Island, including Third Track, the Double Track, Ronkonkoma Hub, and other process.
How does the state taking bids on the Belmont racetrack over in Elmont affect this? Because there's talk that the Islanders would like to go over there rather than return to the Nassau Coliseum.
I think sort of if the Islanders were to decide to come to Nassau Coliseum, that would be fabulous for Long Island and for the site and the project. But I don't think sort of the plan, the conceptual plan that we are suggesting depends on the Islanders coming back.
Well, Shprotim Baumek, co-author of the Long Island Index report on the lack of the progress at the Nassau Hub. It's not news for a lot of folks, but we sure would like to see maybe perhaps this report will spur some change. We thank you very much for coming in.
We hope so too, and thank you very much, Richard, for having me.